Don Luskin, I'm going to jump ship just for a minute. I want to do this GE story and the industrial collapse. But I got to tell you, I'm reading the press release from Mr. Paulson, and I'm reading the G7 statement, the so-called communique.
What do you see there?
And what I see here is root canal. What I see here is a description of the various problems, Don. I don't see anything about solutions. And I don't see any leadership from Mr. Paulson or anybody for that matter to say, look, here's where we are, but gosh darn it, here's how we're going to get out of this. Here's the way out. Here's what we need to do. And this troubles me enormously. These statements are like written, it's like these guys are all money market economists describing this morning's news, for heaven's sakes. Where's the, I don't see any leadership. There's no talk about, you know, free trade reform, flat tax reform, the need for stable money, all the rest of it. I mean, I think that to some extent we are lacking decent leadership right now, Don.
You know, the most you could ever hope out of the G7 would be just some form of strong-arming the BOJ and the European Central Bank into doing something to weaken their currencies to keep the dollar's free fall from getting worse. That's about it. Other than that, you're going to have to look for other places for solutions. We've seen good solutions so far from our own Fed. That's good news. And you know what? Look, God strike me dead for saying this on a show like this, but we are seeing good solutions coming out of Democrats in Congress to help the housing crisis. I like Barney Frank's proposal. I think it is for housing very similar to what the Fed has done for Wall Street. It's a form of putting risk guarantees, not money, behind this problem. And that's what we need. We need institutions to come together and help the economy bear risk.
But supply-side policies on taxes and trade and money are more important than FHA bailouts.
Well,
they are.
I know they are. I know they are.
I don't know where you're coming up with this FHA stuff.
You've got politics is the art of the possible. It is not possible right now to go in and talk about tax cuts as a solution to everything. We've got a risk-bearing problem. We've got a Democratic senator, a Democratic congressman, Dodd and Frank, who just by luck have stumbled onto the right solutions of using the risk-bearing power of the government to help unlock the mortgage crisis, and let them do it. And just because it's a great idea to cut taxes and inspire growth and recreate incentives in those domains, that doesn't mean it isn't also a good idea to do those other things.
About free trade. He's got the votes to win free trade. They're taking this Nancy Pelosi business sitting down. They're taking it sitting down. They can't even get a deal through with little Colombia, much less South Korea.
They don't have the votes. Don't kid yourself. The Republicans are squishy soft on trade.
Unless you go out and fight like heck for the votes, Don. That's the issue. It's called leadership. Economic leadership, using your bully pulpit.
Who's going to do the fighting? You need troops on the ground. You need boots on the ground. And the Republicans in the Senate and the Republicans in the House do not have the guts to follow through on trade. They are not believers. We need to vote those rascals out and vote new rascals in who believe in free trade. We do not have the votes.
Stephan, I'll come back to Don Luskin. Don, I can understand GE taking a hit on the financial sectors, okay? GE Money, GE Finance, and all the rest of it. That's subprime. Here's what I don't get. Healthcare and industrial earnings took double-digit profit losses. I don't get that at all.
I don't either, Larry. That's above my pay grade. I'm not an individual company analyst, but I've got to tell you, I think the real shocker about the GE story is why didn't they warn? We are in a credit crisis, and a credit crisis is a trust crisis. You do not just show up on a Friday morning and drop a bomb like this with no warning. All I can say to Jeff Immelt is, Jeff Immelt, I knew Jack Welch, and you are no Jack Welch. He wouldn't have done this.
Because you were the first guy out of the chute on this show to talk about recession buying to make money in stocks.
Well, that's what you got to do. It's just a fact that stocks perform about as well as in recessions as they do in expansions, but they're more volatile, which means that they make nice bottoms in the middle of recessions. Look, it's axiomatic. We're talking about auction markets here. You have got to buy things when they're cheap, which means you've got to buy stocks when they're down. It's just 2 + 2 = 4. You got to do it. When are they going to be down? In the middle of a recession. Now, we're not even going into recession. Stocks haven't gone down that much. So you got to take what you can get here, because we're just in a slowdown. It's not going to be a recession.
I'm just saying, cyclically, Don Luskin, I don't like the story. I think part of the GE thing today shocked because the industrial sector at GE didn't do very well. And I just think we got some surprises outside of banking and finance and subprime because of the energy shock that is going to depress earnings.
Well, we'll see. I don't know how much of an energy shock it really is. This has been, sure, it's spectacular to see oil at 110, but it's been creeping up, and we've been getting used to it for the last 5 years. I don't really think this is the end of the world. And don't forget, a lot of S&P 500 earnings come from energy companies. The whole idea of owning the market portfolio is you catch the winners and the losers of these changes in the terms of trade.
Where do you like, real quick, Don, where do you like here, sectors?
You know what I would do here? I actually am more interested in the bond market than the stock market right now. I think people should be buying munis that have been destroyed, junk bonds that have been destroyed. I mean, I'm not a bear on stocks or anything, but I think the fastest horses in this race are these broken credits.
Vince Farrow.